to this?
Yes, this is good.
Just 'cause you play it cool, don't think you got me fooled tonight. Alright. Don't ask me to stay. Don't think you got it made. No, no. You're wrong. 'Cause you can't fake it anymore. I know what you're waiting for. I should turn away and walk right out that door because love is a lie. With that look in your eye, love is a lie. With that look in your eye, so why even try? Just 'cause you play it cool, don't think you got me fooled tonight. Alright. I'm not another of your one-night stands. I'm not another of your so-called plans. This is where the party ends. 'Cause you know what you're waiting for. You can't fake it anymore. I should turn away and walk right out that door because love is a lie. With that look in your eye, love is a lie. With that look in your eye, so why even try? Love is a lie. With that look in your eye, love is a lie. With that look in your eyes, so why even try? Now, I don't want to scare you guys, but I'm gonna give it to you straight about Jason. Piz? Hey, Piz, where's the corkscrew? Piz? We will have the power! We will have the glory! In our shining hour, we will write our own story. We will have our own world. We will have it our way. Standing like a tower.
Hello. How is everybody doing tonight? Can you hear me? This is your boy Christian Hanahara. I was before we get started, I was thinking to myself, while the music was playing, I was like, how funny would it be if I brought Nick in and I kept him in the green room for the entire show, and I never even brought him in the whole night. Oh, I'd be such a jerk if I did that. All right, let's bring him in. Let me move you up though. What's up, Nick?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. You ready for the very first live Uneeda Hara podcast?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I don't know what's going to happen. Basically, people are going to ask us, bring stuff up, topics, things like that, and I guess we're just going to, discuss it.
Yeah, man. Whatever. I'm cool with it. I mean, this isn't a new format for either one of us, so it's different for the podcast. But yeah.
I just want to start off with the mug of the day. Today we've got the Monster Squad mug. Got my coffee. A few preliminaries before we get started. I just want to say that these are the movies on the docket for me. This was the new one from Vestron that just came out. It's called Sundown: The Vampire in Retreat. And I just noticed that Bruce Campbell is in this. It's from 1989. It's some kind of vampire flick, so be on the lookout for a review of that. And this is a movie that everybody's been asking me to watch and review. It's called High Tension, and I actually had a Blu-ray of it. I've been getting requests left and right. Some kind of French movie, and it's supposed to be dubbed, but people are like, "Dude, this is one of the movies that actually legitimately freaked me out as an adult." So I haven't seen it, so I'm excited to dive into that. What's on your docket to watch soon?
Okay, so I got House of the Devil on Blu-ray about a month or so, not a month ago, a few weeks ago. I need to revisit that. Sleepaway Camp 2, that's on the docket. I got that in the mail the other day. What else? I picked up Annabelle Comes Home. I've only seen that once. I remember it not being bad, so give that another watch. And then there was another one I picked up that I hadn't seen. It was a blind buy, which I don't blind buy a lot. And I think that's why my collection isn't as big as it probably could be. I always struggle. Oh no, don't buy it. If you don't know you're going to like it, don't buy it. But recently I've been kind of just blind buying. And for the life of me, I can't remember what the other one was, but there was another one that I bought that I haven't seen. Dracula. It's 79 Pleasance. Yeah.
Frank Langella, Laurence Olivier. Yeah. That Dracula is amazing.
I bought it because you had talked so highly of it, and I was like, I gotta watch that. So I got that.
I'm so glad you got that, man, because we could talk about that later on if somebody kind of brings that up. But I'll stop for now. But I'm so glad you got that. Let me say hello to a lot of the beautiful people in here. La Crypta Video, Moon Over Miami, Nocturnal Toothbrush, Scatterbrain, Ryan OG, Billy Bean, Nuclear Fuzzin', Low-Key Vision Films, Carlos, The Cat Drum, Stone. What's up, Stone? A fellow Regionaire. Brandon Bullock, triple feature, Douglas Connor, Don Morton, The Cat Drums, John McCullough, Canadian Crypt, Isaiah Stiles, John Sipe, who else we got? Soda Popinski, Don Morton, triple feature, Nocturnal Toothbrush. I might have said you. All right, looks like that's everybody that's in here. Everything Movie Guy. How's everybody doing? We're gonna start taking your questions and whatever you guys basically want to talk about. So
free for all.
I guess I'll pick a comment and we'll go. Let me look at some of the questions. Let's see.
You guys see the Curse of Michael Myers poster back there framed? Doesn't she look nice?
Does look good.
Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is also framed, but it's, you know what? I'll turn the camera really quick so you guys can see it. There she is.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Here's a simple question to start with, but I wanted to bring this up. Somebody says, Cat Drum says, or not Cat Drums. Who asked this? Scatterbrain. Anybody pre-order the American Psycho Steelbook? I haven't pre-ordered it, but God knows I want to get that American Psycho. I want to get that on 4K. I really like that movie a lot. It's
Yeah,
American Psycho.
Wes. I saw Wes tagged me in that a couple days ago on Instagram, and yeah, that's definitely something I want to pick up, but I haven't pre-ordered it either. I don't know if it's going to be one of those things that kind of flies off the shelves or not. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I'm in a rush to,
Yeah, I would assume Best Buy you'll be able to get it pretty easily.
yeah.
Here's a good one. Soda Popinski. Hey guys, Nick recently did a battle of the horror franchises, and it was awesome. Christian, since you weren't there to give your ranking, could you list yours for all of us? Thanks. Which ones did you?
All right, so I'll give you the 10.
10? Oh my god.
Yeah. My ranking went like this from worst to best: Phantasm, Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Evil Dead, Saw, Child's Play, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday, Scream, Halloween.
Okay, I think I can remember all that. This is best to worst for me. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. Damn it! I really need somebody. I need
Better
to
say Halloween.
Well, I need to see a list of all these so I can remember.
Here, I'll hold my list up. I have it right next to me. Because I had to write it down when we did that one because I wanted to be able to remember it.
Okay, thank you. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. I would say Halloween. I'd put Evil Dead really high simply because I don't think that there's a bad one. I guess I'd go. Honestly, I really enjoy a lot of the Saw movies, so I'd put Saw next. Then I'd do. Hold on. Let me start over. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw, but it's really back and forth with those two. Then I'd go Saw. Then I would go Saw. Then I would go Phantasm. 4 and 5 are weaker, but I really love the first three. Then I would go Child's Play. Then I would go. This is gonna be weird. Then I would go Hellraiser, and I'd probably put Scream last because at this point I really don't rewatch Screams a lot, and I like the first one, but I don't really care to watch any of the sequels anymore. So I'd probably have Scream pretty low on my list. But the first movie I really like, but as a franchise, no,
I'm surprised you have Phantasm so high because, like you said, 4 and 5 are they're pretty.
Well, I'm trying to. I love Phantasm 2. I think it's as good, if not better, than the first one, and I think 3's pretty good. 4's weaker because it has old footage, and 5 is just not a great movie at all. I was really sad when I watched it, if anything. But Scream, even though they're much better, well-produced films, I really only like the first one at this point anymore. So that's probably why I'd have Scream so low on my list.
Yeah,
because but I like Saw a lot. Saw gets a pretty good spot in there.
And someone was talking about that too when we did that. They were like, what was it? Evil Dead. I had Evil Dead at 7. And I was like, I love all 4 movies. I think all 4 are good great movies. My problem is, I look at Nightmare, Friday, Halloween. I think there's more than 4 great movies in all those franchises, in my opinion. So it's hard for me to put it above a series that has more movies and more movies that I would consider great movies. So it's hard, but I like all 10 series. I don't think there's one of those series that I probably don't watch a film from.
Me too. Absolutely.
Regularly. So.
All right, let's see. Cole is gay. What's up, man? He says, if you could have a pizza with one director, who would it be and what kind of pizza? Thanks and keep up the great work.
I got one.
Go ahead.
Just because I feel like he'd be an ass about it. Rob Zombie, Hawaiian. I feel like he's a pineapple doesn't belong on pizza guy.
He's also a vegan though, so that might be the only thing he'd put on a pizza.
Oh, you're right. True.
Because he doesn't even do. He doesn't even do. There is vegan pizza, so it'd probably be something like that.
I don't even like Hawaiian pizza. I'm not against pineapple on pizza. It's not really my thing. So, but I'd like to sit down and pick Rob Zombie's brain, and mainly probably just ask him, like, dude, can you like have other people write your dialogue for your movies? Because if you could do that, you know,
You wouldn't say that to him if you saw
no,
him.
no, I wouldn't. You kidding me? No way. But what's yours?
George Romero. I would love to sit and talk with George about the '60s horror in the '60s, the influence that he got from Hammer and things like that. And I would love to talk to George. I'm sad I never met him, but I got to see him in Texas Frightmare a bunch. It's just I wasn't going to stand in line all day to meet him as much as I love him. It's just that's my whole day. And I would only go to Texas Frightmare for a day usually anyway. But George is certainly somebody I'd want to talk to. I wouldn't want to sit with John because I would want to sit with John Carpenter, but he's not going to want to talk about anything I want to talk about. I mean, he wants to talk about basketball, the Lakers, and video games, which is cool, but I can only talk about video games and the Lakers for so long.
Yeah.
But I would love to talk to George. He's my favorite director.
Yeah, John's my favorite. I didn't say John though because I'm knowing enough about John. It would probably be a very dry, boring conversation.
Lucio Fulci would probably be a close second. Rest in peace, Tim. I saw a really good question. Canadian Crip, what's up, brother? He said most impactful horror film from your childhood.
Well, impactful in the way of scared the crap out of me and had left a lasting impression. The Exorcist. Impactful in a way that it made me become a collector. Halloween.
Childhood, it's The Fly. I remember my dad, he wouldn't let me watch too much horror, but like I remember when I watched the '86 The Fly, I was scarred for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. This was probably '98 and '99. I was very young, but it was sold to me as a kid. My dad was like, "Oh, it's like a science fiction movie. It's like he's trying to move around in this pod deal, blah blah blah." And I remember I watched The Fly, and I would wake up and have vivid, lucid dreams about him crawling on the roof in the bedroom and terrify me. It's my favorite remake. I love The Fly. That one's certainly one of them. And my grandma raised me on Stephen King's It, the miniseries. I mean, she had the double VHS that she bought from like a used. She bought it from like a mom and pop video store. I remember the day she took us to get it because she's a massive Stephen King and like Dean Koontz fan. She's read everything by those guys. And she got the double VHS, and we would watch it religiously. And I would always get like nightmares, so, but those two movies for sure. Stephen King's It, and then I vividly remember just crying endless nights from The Fly. It ruined me.
Yeah, that's another one that honestly, the It miniseries was probably the thing I watched the most when I was a kid because we had the same double VHS set. My mom had it, and that scared the crap out of me. That did back in the day.
All right, let's see. There's a lot of good questions, guys. I'm trying not to be too picky. I want to read everybody's, but let's see. Have you guys ever played the games Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th? I'm assuming he means the new Friday the 13th and not the Nintendo one like I've played religiously for till this day.
I play Dead by Daylight multiple times a week. I've never played Friday the 13th. But yeah, Dead by Daylight, I actually am going to be playing that later tonight. So yeah, I play that a lot.
I've never played Dead by Daylight. I remember I saw like post a long time ago that they were going to make an Elm Street version of it, but then I think they made a Halloween version of it, if memory serves. I don't remember.
Freddy's in there as well, and there's a Springwood map. It's like the preschool and everything. And actually next month, Pinhead is coming to the game.
Very cool. I've got Friday the 13th on Switch. I still play regularly on Switch because Xbox Internet, the live, you have to pay for it, and it's just not an expense I need right now because I had to spend hundreds and hundreds on AC not long ago when my deal went out. So like I've cut out any kind of like small thing I can cut out. I have, but I do have it on Switch. If any of you guys want to play Friday the 13th with me on Switch, please reach out to me on Instagram. I'd love to add you, that kind of thing. Let me see. I saw a good question right here. Nico, how you doing, man? Good friend of the show. After that, do not let me forget. I've got a super chat I've got to get. Nico said, "Gentlemen, my MVD Mortuary Blu-ray and Massacre at Central High Steelbook arrive tomorrow. Any thoughts on these? They'll both be first watches for me." Have you seen either of those, Nick? Mortuary or
I really, really like Mortuary.
yeah?
I have not seen the other one, but I remember when you got that poster. Was that like a month ago? That poster is freaking awesome.
Mortuary is pretty good. I think you're thinking of Mausoleum.
Oh yeah, you're right. I am.
Yeah. Mortuary is pretty good. It's got Bill Paxton in it, Nico, so you can't go wrong there. It's always good to see that.
I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking of that poster, but I have seen Mortuary with Bill Paxton. So
Yeah. And Massacre at Central High, all the credit in the world if he's still watching. Stone Gassman, another Legionnaire, he really pressed this movie on the show one day and said it's a really interesting, good film that has really cool character twists and arcs. And we actually reviewed the movie together on my channel. I got the Synapse steelbook of it, and that is a fascinatingly good film, Massacre at Central High. So I would immediately go to Massacre before Mortuary. Nico, that's my 2 cents. But all the credit goes to Stone Gassman. All right, thank you so much, Loki Vision Films. He gave us a $5 super chat. CHH, you still sleeping on Death Sentence? Yeah, man. I don't mean to never skip a movie if somebody tells me to watch it, man. You got to understand, I'm always behind. And then my whole YouTube channel is built on spontaneity, so that's how I watch movies too. I don't intend to ever try to skip something somebody tells me to watch, but you have to stay on me. Message me often, hit me up, and tell me to watch Death Sentence. And I will. I have it on my little shelf right there. That's my must-watch thing, this little column, and it's on there. So I'm going to. Believe me. Thank you again, Loki. I really appreciate your great support of the channel. Let's see. Cat Drum says, if you could remake any iconic horror film, which would it be? I'd personally do The Beyond as a 3-hour epic. That's a great choice.
oh man,
I have my answer. I've had the same answer for a
you
long
go ahead
time.
and answer it because I'm thinking.
I want to put money on Jason Takes Manhattan and legitimately make Jason Takes Manhattan. That's what
Yeah.
I would love to see remade. I mean, I think it would be so cool.
Oh my God, dude. It's so sacrilegious almost to answer this question, because I think about it. I'm like, I wouldn't want to mess with like a classic, but I will say really quick too, Sam, film blogger Sam, I'm sure you're familiar with him because he found my channel through you. He messaged me on Instagram earlier and asked the same question. He said, "Hey, I won't be able to make the live, but I have a question." And that's the same question. So wanted to shout you out, Sam. For me, it's funny. I would really like to tackle Friday the 13th because that I find that reboot to be very meh. I mean, and that's me being kind to it now because I hated it. Then I rewatched it the other night and I was like, okay, this is probably more middle of the road in the franchise for me. It's not terrible, but I thought it had so much potential. I would really probably honestly go after that but I wouldn't do the whole Pamela Voorhees thing. I feel like that's been at this point. I wouldn't really address that. Like mention that was a thing, but we don't need a recap. But yeah, I probably want to do that.
There you go.
Or
It's
House
funny.
on Haunted Hill. House on Haunted Hill is a good one too.
But dude, that had a great remake, I thought.
It did. It did. The only thing about it is some of the visuals just aged terribly. But I think that movie's creepy as hell. That scared the crap out of me as a kid. I need to get that. Didn't Scream Factory do a release of that?
Mm-hmm.
I need to get that.
It's
if
a
I
good
can.
release. My wife gives me all the hell every time it gets brought up because we would go to FYA and we would see House on Haunted Hill 99, and my wife was a big fan of the movie. And I was like, Sydney, I like the original. This is late 90s. I get very sporadic with late 90s movies. Sometimes I'm really into them, and other times I want nothing to do with them. And at that moment, I wanted nothing to do with late 90s horror. And I remember I would pass on it. And my wife was like, Christian, it's a good movie. It's not like a Scream movie. It's like, it's got that kind of personality, but it's classic. It's got really classic styles and a few things, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I go home one day and I'm on the internet, and like I see a post from Bloody Disgusting that says, it said it was Bloody Disgusting or somebody, but the blog was called House on Haunted Hill 99 is a perfect blend of late 90s horror and classic horror. And I read up on it and I was like, man, that sounds great. And I told my wife what I read, and she goes, I'm gonna kill you. I was like, what? She goes, you don't listen to anything I say. And I was like, no, you're right. So then we immediately went to halfway, bought it, and then I fell in love with it. I love those, like the House on Haunted Hill, 13 Ghosts, and Ghost Ship. Like, I like those movies. Ghost Ship is, I think, the weakest of the three, but I still really like it. It's got the greatest opening I've ever seen of a horror movie on Ghost Ship, but House on
Yeah.
Haunted Hill is so damn good. I really, really love House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts a lot. I love those movies.
House on Haunted Hill, yeah. Some of the imagery in that movie and just the whole like the setting is so creepy. That movie, yeah, I love that movie. That's
And
a
Chris Kattan's in it. Corky Romano's in it.
yeah. And I've never seen the sequel, but I did not hear good things about it.
It's okay. They got it all out in that one film kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like they really left it out on the field for that one thing. We got another super chat. What's up, Bloodwire Radio, man? Thank you. Hey guys, love the content. What horror franchise has had enough or far too many limited special editions?
Oh,
Obviously,
Nightmare.
I think it's Halloween. We have
Really?
no limited or special editions of Nightmare.
Okay. Yeah.
We have
has
no
had-
Halloween.
Okay. So not has had enough.
Or far too many.
That's okay. I was reading the question wrong. I was going to say, because we haven't had any Nightmare. Yeah. Oh yeah. Halloween's it's been done to death. Yeah.
You got to think too. When you look back at the Anchor Bay era, how many times they released it on VHS? They also media head releases. I don't know if people know this, but like Criterion put out Halloween in the 90s on Laserdisc, and it's still a beautiful release. I have it, and they include a lot of cool stuff. They actually have the Roger Ebert video review of Halloween on there when he started to really like the film, which is cool to see.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker. I genuinely there are certain movies that I genuinely get warm fuzzy feelings and enjoyment out of getting new releases for. I just, there's some movies you just love, but have they milked that cow? You damn right they have.
and I won't lie, I still get that feeling with every Halloween release. I really do. Like even the 4Ks. Christian and I have talked about it. It seems like there's not a ton of people that are really like, I'm stoked about these. I am. He is. Like, I don't know. I saw it, and because they always get me to spend my money. This new special edition's coming out. Oh, there's not really anything new to it except the transfer, and I'll buy it because I like the art and it's Halloween. But I still get that feeling with Halloween. But yeah, if there's a franchise that they haven't done, it's Nightmare. That's why I said that at first. I misread the question. Yeah. That Nightmare needs it. So freaking bad. And I don't know if this is an issue with the Craven estate or what it is, but it's getting to a point where it's frustrating because God, like I'm ready. I know you are. I know you're willing and able to drop that $150 on that Supreme set as soon as it comes out. We just need it. So
it's very interesting. You look back at, I don't know, man. It's just like New Line is owned by Warner Brothers and stuff like that, and I don't know what Warner Brothers' game plan is with releasing physical media with certain stuff, and then you've got some companies that are streaming that are trying to get exclusivity, and that could, there's a lot of weird contracts and stuff like that, but for some reason Nightmare has just really gotten buried, and there is the argument that it's the lesser of the big three behind Halloween and Friday, but we're still, and I don't argue that. I do feel like that I do love the lesser popular of the three in a sense, but at the same time we're still talking about one of the biggest horror icons ever. So yeah. The Borrower, I just bought that on Blu-ray from Scream Factory. I've never even heard of that movie at all, but like that just got a Blu-ray, but we're not getting Nightmare right now. It's like somebody's holding this stuff up right now. It's not because the companies haven't tried, but eventually, we all know it's going to happen. It's going to happen without a shadow of a doubt. It's going to happen. It's just like, man, we are just waiting and waiting for that slingshot to go off, and just hopefully it does sooner rather than later, because I'm sick. I'm sick of waiting for it.
Yeah, same here.
Oh,
I go to the store, I see an edition of a Nightmare movie, and I'm like, I want to buy it, but at the same time, I don't, because I feel like any day they could announce some box set or some special editions, and I don't want to waste money. So
yeah. Jamie, what's up, Jamie? She says thoughts on Stigmata with Patricia Arquette. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, I do too. I like Patricia Arquette a lot. So I mean, we were watching Dream Warriors last night. My brother, because he's staying at my house for like a week, he was like, I feel like I like recognize that girl. I was like, you probably do. That's Patricia Arquette. She's been on a lot of stuff. He's like, oh, yeah.
Let's see. This is from Stone. Christian and Nick, what is the scariest non-horror movie you have ever seen? Mine is The China Syndrome, which is prophetic in terms of 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl. Scariest non-horror movie you've ever seen?
Oh, man. That's hard.
I mean, it would have to be the only thing that relatively comes to mind is when I was really, really, really young. I used to watch the Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Vega used to scare the hell out of me because he had the face and he had like the Wolverine, and he used to scare the hell out of me. So like that's a bad answer, but like off the top of my head, I really can't think of a non-horror movie that's scared me. Maybe gave me anxiety because of a tense situation and something action packed, but not necessarily scared.
Yeah, I think the thing that comes to mind for me is Twister. For when I was younger, Twister scared the crap out of me, and I think that was just because like the idea of a tornado, you're so helpless. You can't stop a tornado. Like you can't fight a tornado. So like, and I've always been fascinated by like storms and stuff. Like I've always said I would love to see a tornado at a safe distance. But like I think Twister when I was a kid, that scared me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Lopke said cheaper by the dozen. Having all those kids would be terrifying. That just made me chuckle.
No, wouldn't do it. La Crypta gave a super chat.
Perfect. Hey, thank you so much, La Crypta. I really appreciate your support. Give me 5 movies you guys religiously, I can't talk tonight, watch in October. Go.
Halloween, Trick or Treat, Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, The Blair Witch Project, and I could just say another Halloween movie, but I'm not going to do that because I feel like that's The Evil Dead.
Halloween 3, Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
Return of the Living Dead. I honestly try to watch old movies during this time, so I'll probably do some more Hammer. Probably Evil of Frankenstein because I love that movie. Pierre Cushing is a god, and Murders in the Rue Morgue. It's one of my favorite classic films. Bela Lugosi is one of the greatest actors. Period. Dude was so ahead of his time. So yeah, I try to get some old stuff in. I'm really getting into 40s, 50s. I actually just watched The Cat People. Yeah. Because I love the remake, and the original's vastly different, but it's some of they had to build a lot of movies back then purely on suspense and atmosphere because there really wasn't the effects work that we have today. There was some brilliant artists back then, but not today. So Cat People, the original, I really like that too.
I mean, there's La Crypta, there's other ones that I watch. I was basically going for horror, but like if it comes to like non-horror, I mean, I make sure I'm almost 27 and I still watch Halloween Town every October. I mean, I just do.
Hocus Pocus too. I love Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
I put a spell on you.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. I mean, there's certain ones that I watch them, like, and Nightmare Before Christmas. I still watch that every October too.
So it's a Halloween movie too. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
Me too. Like I always saw it as a Halloween movie because
he's the king of Halloween. Like of Halloween Town. Like, yes, he's venturing over into that world because he's like, well, this could be cool, but no, it's a Halloween movie to me. But I won't, chastise anyone if they're like, no, it's a Christmas movie. Like,
Yeah.
but I watch it in October. I do not watch it in December.
Yeah. Hey, Nico, I saw that, man. Rest in peace, Sonny Chiba, one of the greatest Kung Fu guys ever that walked this planet. Rest in peace, man. Great filmography from that dude. Legend in the business. Sad to hear. Okay. Well, here's just obviously people were commenting on Elm Street, and I want to kind of go over that a little bit. Big Nightmare on Elm Street fan here. Are you guys concerned we will never? This is from David Carr, by the way, and I can tell he's a Giants fan. Go Giants! I love Eli. I met him when I was a kid. Are you guys concerned with? Are you guys concerned we will never get another new Nightmare on Elm Street film? The Cravens got the estate close to 2 years ago, and still no news. WTF?
No, I'm not. I'm not worried that we won't get another one. I talked about this on my channel about a month ago. I reached out to somebody, actually one of the more important people over at Bloody Disgusting, and I told you about it too, Christian. I was like, hey, do you think you could poke around? Like, have you heard anything? And he was like, I haven't heard anything in a little bit, but I'll poke around. And he got back to me the next day and was like, there's an idea. There's a script that the Cravens like. There's a script that they like. There's a lead that they like. That's it. I was like, so it's not even something that's really like on the verge of being announced. He was like, nah, right now it's basically just like, okay, we really like this script. It sounds like they've narrowed it down to a script and they like a lead for it. But that's it. So I'm not worried about it. I'm really not, because I think they know, especially you're really going to see it, guys. Like I'm telling you, when Candyman comes out next week, all those stuff starting to flare back up, so it's not going to make as much as it probably would have. It's going to be profitable. Halloween Kills is going to be profitable. And you're going to start to see, I think, the wheels on some other franchises start turning. So I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I think COVID probably has certainly hurt any kind of progress, because how much stuff got delayed or pushed back because of that. And this is just ideas, so it's not even like there was like logistics put in place to start filming anything. So quite frankly, I think that Halloween and Candyman and all that stuff, it if it does, it needs to succeed, or else I don't. It's not going to help. You remember what happened with Paramount years ago? I mean, they relied on the success of a movie called Rings to progress a possible Friday entry. This was around 2016, 2017, and nobody was asking for Rings, so it didn't succeed very well in the box office. That doesn't mean horror was dead, but that's what a group of people in suit and ties that work at Paramount think when they put out a horror movie. They think that horror fans will just go to watch literally everything, and some do, and God bless them for that. I know our friend on Reason Free Lauren is a guy who completely supports the genre and goes and sees everything, even when he knows it's terrible. But I respect that because he loves horror. But to think that Friday the 13th wouldn't succeed because a movie called Rings didn't do well at the box office. This is the kind of thinking we have from these companies. So that's something you got to keep in mind. These people I don't think exactly live in the real world. Everything's done off of marketing and done off of study show kind of stuff. So you got to remember that kind of stuff. And also, this is a big franchise we're talking about, so money has to be put in place, rights have to be put in place. This isn't as simple as, it may not be as difficult as the Friday franchise, but I don't think any of us really truly understand everything that goes into this stuff anyway. So all we can really do is speculate. But I do think that eventually one will happen. Personally, I'm not exactly anticipating one. I've got plenty films to enjoy, and I'd hate to see another one that I really don't. I'd hate to have another one come out and I'm just really bummed out that I don't like it. But that's selfish, and if people want one, I wouldn't want to be the guy that's just downing it. So I would love to enjoy a new Nightmare on Elm Street, but we'll see. I think it'll probably happen within the next year or so.
I I think that also,
We'll hear news in the next year or so. Excuse me. I don't think a
yeah,
movie's going to come out in the next year or so. It could be 3, 4 years, but I think we're going to find out information, especially in this day and age. You know, there's pictures of the Halloween Kills set on Facebook a day after it happens anyway. So you're going to know something pretty quick when it does come to fruition. So hang
yeah.
tight.
I just don't think it's something it's not going to go away. I think another hang up, and you and I have talked about this too, is Robert Englund. I think that's another hang up is, do we want him back? Do we need him back? Does he want to come back? You know, I think there's a hang up there because I think he did come out and say he would do one more. But it would just be like a passing of the torch type of thing. And
But a studio, if I'm a studio executive, I'm saying I'm not going to put my baskets back on a
exactly.
74-year-old man because what happens if this movie's successful and I want to make another one? Oh, I've got to recast them. Oh, well, the critics are going to hate that.
Yep. So
So he's not
that's a
coming.
conundrum.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
not
that's
going to
another
bring him
conundrum.
back. There's no way logistically that a studio would do that, in my
And
opinion.
I don't think they should. You know, I would be okay with it. I would love to see Robert Englund back in the makeup. Like, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they should.
Give him a role in the movie. You know,
Yeah,
give him a cameo role or something. But there's no way a studio's gonna put all their baskets, despite the fact that I am one of those people like, yeah, you damn right, Robert Englund is Freddy. Are you kidding me? Robert Englund is Freddy the way Sylvester Stallone is Rocky. But that doesn't mean that somebody else can't do the role. I didn't hate Jackie Earl Haley. I've gone on a number of statements saying that I don't think he was necessarily a problem, but he's not coming back. There's just no way a studio is going to do that. They're going to start with a fresh slate. Look, we got to remember, man, I always loved Tim Curry as Pennywise, and I never thought I
yes.
would like another Pennywise, but Bill Skarsgård did his thing, his own thing, and I love him. So I'll never say never, but there's no way Robert's coming back, in my opinion.
I think you got the right. I think you have the right idea though. Bring him back for the movie to be in it as not Freddy Krueger. You know, let him be a character in the movie, even if it's just a cameo. Like, that'd be a cool nod to the fans. You know, I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, don't worry about it. Freddy will be back.
Thank you very much, R.L. Newton Hotmail. 499 Super Chat. Appreciate that. Popcorn and Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, are two of the most underrated horror movies, in my opinion. What are some of your favorite? Excuse me, some of your favorite ones. I would
Underrated.
like to say right off the bat, though, I think that Popcorn and Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon are really fun movies. I think Popcorn had a lot of, I think Scream. I don't know if Williamson saw the movie Popcorn, but there's certainly some similarities with the story there. And Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, that was a movie. While I was watching it, I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. But by the end of the movie, I realized no, they fooled me. Because when I saw what they did, I was like, oh my God, they fooled me. Here I am thinking this movie's silly. No, they got me. So I love Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Yeah, underrated, man. I mean, okay, underrated is subjective for sure, as we all know. You know, but like right off the top of my head, films that I think that are good, like genuinely good, that don't get talked about enough or get enough attention. I really think The Strangers Pray at Night is one of them. I really think that movie came out and it just fizzled. I mean, nobody really talked about it because it had been 10 years. And that was a movie that I felt like deserved to make $100 million at the box office. I loved that movie. I also really like, I've talked about this with you too, P2. I think P2 is a super underrated movie that just flew under everyone's radar.
Terrible
You know?
movie name. Nobody's going to see a movie called P2. If I don't know what the title means, I'm not going to see it.
Yeah, and it's
I'm
great.
speaking as the average person that might walk down a movie theater and see the poster for it. P2, I don't know what that is. Pass. And what else is playing at the theater kind of thing.
Yeah.
Terrible movie name. I get it, and I appreciate, I love the movie. Great thriller. But what were they thinking calling the movie that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Another one from a big franchise. I mean, Friday Part 5. I mean, I know a lot of people say that, so this isn't like off the wall. I think Friday Part 5 is really enjoyable.
Yeah. I would definitely go Michael Mann's Manhunter. It still takes a backseat to Red Dragon, and I think Manhunter's amazing. I would certainly go Stuart Gordon's Dagon. I really have come to really appreciate that movie. Um, I would certainly put Manhattan Baby up there from Lucio. I really started appreciating that film. Certainly not one that gets mentioned a lot by Lucio at all. Uh, I would bring up I would probably bring up Slither from
James
Gunn.
Gunn. Yeah.
I think that movie's good, and because of his successes with other endeavors in the future, I think that movie's kind of taken a back seat a little bit. Um, Certainly the movie Searching, which is a found footage movie that is absolutely brilliant. One of the best found footage, like FaceTime cell phone type of movies I've ever seen. The House That Jack Built is a brilliantly dark comedy movie that I think is absolutely incredible. What else?
Hey, no problem, Nico. No problem.
Skinner. Skinner is a really cool dark comedy starring Ted Raimi, and it's
Yeah.
really brutal. I love that. Anthropophagus is a great film. I'm trying to think of some really good ones. Um, I would say that Prison's kind of taken a back seat as of late. Prison, which was a later '80s film directed by Rennie Harlan, it's got some really awesome, cool special stuff in it with a great cast. Viggo Mortensen's in there. What else? Trying to think.
Yes, Stone. Searching is very good. I liked Searching with John Cho. John Cho. That was a good thriller.
Yeah.
I heard you mention Red Dragon. That flew under my radar until like a year ago.
No,
Ne-
not Red Dragon, Manhunter.
No, I know, but you said it. You like mentioned
Oh yeah. I
Red
mentioned it.
Dragon. I was
Yeah.
just saying, like, I never hear anybody talk about that, and I didn't even know it existed till like a year ago. And I watched it, and I was like, oh, it's pretty good. Like, I liked it.
Serial Mom is a really cool movie. Zero Boys, yeah, that's another one, Nico. I really like Zero Boys too. That was a cool movie. But yeah, that's some I'm thinking of. Good
Problem
stuff.
is, like I said, it's all subjective, so it's all there's a lot you could say that you feel are
Yeah.
underrated. You know what I mean?
I really like the Invasion of the Body Snatchers '78 version with Jeff Goldblum. That's a really cool one too. If anybody hasn't seen that.
Yeah, by the way, I picked that up at FYE the other day for $3, the Blu-ray. So
Yeah, I like it. Wow, it's cheap.
yeah.
Let's see. Well, thank you again for the super chat. Let's see what people are saying about. Oh, Bad Dreams. That's a great one, Phil. That is a great Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff starring Jennifer Rubin. Love that movie. Visiting Hours too. Obviously, I knew that one because it's a double feature. Everybody came up
Stone mentioned Stir of Echoes.
Stir of Echoes.
Yep.
That is a good one. Psycho 2, although I really wouldn't say that that's underrated. I mean, it's one of the most revered sequels ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Wolfen. I love Wolfen. Wolfen's a great one.
Exorcist 3.
I think it's one of the greatest movies ever made.
That's what I'm saying. But like, you don't. Most people only talk about The Exorcist.
They've probably only seen The Exorcist too. The
Yeah.
average person, not the people watching this show,
Yeah.
obviously.
The average person maybe saw The Heretic, and that's why they didn't watch anything after that, because they were like, "Oh, this movie's not very good." So
Near Dark. Billy Bean brings up Near Dark. I'm hoping that Shudder is helping that though. Now that it's on there, it is amazing. God, Bill Paxton's the greatest vampire ever.
Jamie thinks Silent Hill is underrated.
One of my favorite movies from the 2000s. Yeah. Ghost Story. That's another one. I really like Ghost Story from '81. That's a really great little film. Joyride. A lot of people come up with some great ones.
Yeah. I'm looking down at the other screen that's on my floor to see the comments, guys. So if it ever looks like I'm like looking down, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So all right, let's see what other people are saying. Carlos wants to know, will you guys be going to Texas Frightmare this year? I had to take a back seat this year for financial reasons, which I've made public. My air condition went out. I had air conditioning problems, and anybody that's had that knows it costs a fortune, and it basically took my Texas Frightmare money and then some away from me. So I had to make the conscious decision to to not go this year. Very upset about it, but that's part of being an adult. So I'm not going.
I'm not going because Texas is across the country for me. So, but I think I will go to Horror Hound. I think I will.
That's one I've always wanted to go to.
Yeah. They had Horror Hound in 2010, and I beat myself up over it for not going to the one in 2010 that was in Sharonville. It was only like 20 minutes from my house. Malcolm McDowell was there because this was right after Rob's Halloween 2. Scout Taylor Compton was there. Danielle Harris, a bunch of people from the original Halloween movies. Nick Castle, and I didn't go.
Yeah.
I mean, I was only 16, but still.
Yeah. I just want to say, Evan, the movie guy, said I only say Psycho 2 is underrated because it still kind of has a stigma in it by people who have not seen it and think it's a sequel to Psycho. It must suck. I respect that. I completely see what you're saying. I'm thinking in the horror bubble. Whenever we talk on a channel like this, I think in simply the horror bubble that we live in, where all of us have seen it. But that's a good argument. I think you're right. I think you're right there.
Jamie, the Crazies remake is very underrated. I love that movie. And Session 9 is a banger.
Yeah. Session 9 is a movie I want to love so much, man. I does not connect with me. And I get it. Excuse me, I don't get it. I want to love that movie so much because it's up my alley, but I don't connect with the tension and the atmosphere to it. I've watched it several times. I've bought it several times, and that's one that I just can't connect with.
Yeah, I really like it, but
I want to. I'm not going to say anything bad about it because I think it's a very well made film, but there is a wall between me and that film that I can't get through to get creeped out and feel the atmosphere from it. I don't know. Maybe one day it'll happen, but damn it, man, if I don't go back to that movie fairly often. So there you go. Everybody thinks I love everything. No, I just don't talk about movies I don't love.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. I do. I also love the Happy Death Day movies. I do. I think they're so fun.
Yeah, I love the first one. I like the second one, but I was like, man, that first one was the story of the first one.
Dude, I saw the trailer in 2017 and I said, nope, passing on that. That looks stupid. And then
it's Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly. And then 6 months later, I streamed it at home one night after work, and I was like, "Holy crap! I can't believe I loved it." I was like, "Dude, I'm such an idiot." Like,
yeah.
We went and saw the second one on opening day, Valentine's Day 2019, and she wasn't a big fan of it. She was like, "The first one was more like slasher, like horror, and this one really wasn't." I was like, "I know, but I expected that, and I was totally cool with it. Like, I knew it'd be more of a sci-fi dark comedy. I was cool with it."
Yeah. Let's see.
Got some love for TCM too.
Oh, no argument from me, man.
Yeah, same.
Scatterbrain said Disturbia is underrated. I've always been a big fan of Disturbia. I grew up with that film, saw it in the theater, watched it with my friends all the time. It's Fright Night without the vampire element.
I love Shia LaBeouf, man. Yeah, anything Shia LaBeouf, sign me up. I've always loved that movie. Tried to convince her to watch that. Literally, like 2 nights ago, we were scrolling. I was like, dude, we should watch Disturbia. She's like, I felt like we watched that recently. I was like, I had never watched that with you. You're full of shite. And we didn't watch it. So.
All right, let's see what everybody else is saying. Any more questions, guys? Everybody's talking about Session 9. Ask away, guys. Whatever you guys want to know. We got 70 people in here. I want to say thank you all for hanging out with us. We're going to go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
TCM2 is the best TCM film. I think that the first one's still the best one, but the second best one to me personally is TCM2. Man, I love the Toby Hooper ones are my absolute favorite ones. Love the remake, but I love TCM2 so much.
But yeah, to everybody that's watching, thank you. I think Christian felt, and I think I agree. I do agree that this format would be cool because every time we've done a premiere for an episode, the engagement's been really way cool. Out there, man. It's been awesome. And I feel like, is that something you guys like? Do you like to have the live chat element when we're discussing something? Because, we could always talk about doing more premieres, maybe not, do lives every now and then, but more premieres and stuff, because I remember those were bangers. So
Let's see. I saw a good question. Scatterbrain says, "Which character that got offed in a horror movie pissed you off the most?" My answer is easy. Obviously,
Rachel Halloween 5.
it's Randy in Scream 2.
Oh, yeah. Oh my
I'll never
God.
understand. I'm. You know what? I've gone on multiple rants, and I'm just not. I'm not going to do it this
Yeah,
time.
because if you get started, I'll get started, and it'll be bad. We'll just no, terrible. They shouldn't have killed him. Nope.
It was funny. We were talking about the Friday the 13th remake. The blonde haired guy in the movie. My problem. I wanted him to die, obviously, because he was a jerk, and he was supposed to be a jerk. My problem is that he got off too easy. I wanted to see him dismembered in the
Yeah,
movie
when I was texting
slowly
Christian about it, he
and
had
painfully.
some colorful words about what he wanted to see happen to Trent, and I totally agree.
Trent, yeah. But yeah, Randy, I'll never understand it. And everybody knows if you what anytime it gets brought up in regular live streams where it's just me shooting the bull and somebody brings it up, I visibly get steam starts coming out of my ears.
Oh, Sam, triple feature coming in with the hate of why is the original Halloween so overrated?
Because that's a fair question. Okay,
He's
why is
being
the original?
sarcastic, though. He's always sarcastic to me.
Hold on, it's shoved down people's throats in ways that I think you can't go on the internet. It's got such a massive fan base. I think if it's not your favorite movie and you just like it, okay, you're gonna get aggravated seeing it all the time. And I think that's kind of true. I mean, I don't get bothered by it, but I know people that, man, they just you really can't escape if you're on the internet and you're a horror fan and you involve yourself in horror Instagram like I am or things like that, you're going to see Halloween probably every single day. And I think that really pisses some people off because they can't escape it. They want to escape it. You know what I mean? I mean,
No, I get it, but I think that when a movie is that good and that important to the genre and where it is today, it's the same way with. I mean, you look at any top 10 list by any website, they always have the same movies in them, and for good reason. The Exorcist, Jaws, Halloween, like they're they're shoved down people's throats because they're really good. Now, having said that, though, yeah, I completely get your point. It's everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. It's associated with the damn holiday. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah. Let's see. I saw
I'm
some
just
cool
busting your
questions.
chops, though, Sam. He also made a sarcastic comment about Friday Part 5 being a masterpiece. He hates that.
Hey, Evan, the movie guy, Night of the Living Dead versus Dawn of the Dead. Which is better? Anyone who follows me on my Instagram knows my answer.
Remake or original?
I would assume he means original.
Because if we're talking remakes, it's Dawn of the Dead. If we're talking originals, I think it's Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead, hands down for me.
Yeah.
The Dawn of the Dead remake, I really like. I like the original Dawn of the Dead. It's just not my favorite from Romero, quite frankly. It's top 5, but not my favorite. I love the original Night of the Living Dead. I think it's literally a keystone movie in in the world of horror in many ways. Like really, the timing of it, because right around that time, I mean, Night of the Living Dead is right when the rating systems came in,
Yep.
and things like that, and it's just a movie made. A movie just made by pure love for the genre. I love it. George Romero was doing stuff that, man, you weren't seeing done back then. I mean, I have this documentary called Reflections of a Living Dead, and it's really great. And it's from '93, so everybody's still young and remembers everything when they made the documentary. And I mean, George was a guy that he didn't give a damn what people thought. Man, he wanted to have an African American lead in his movie, and there were people that looked at him like, "What are you doing?" Like, and he goes, "I don't care. This is my lead. He's the best guy for the job." And I love the original so much. I think it's Day of the Dead still my favorite Dead movie, but I think Night's better than Dawn.
Yeah, I would agree
Even
with that. Just in real life.
even remakes though, the Night of the Living Dead remake, even though we never have been able to really see the true version of it because it got butchered by the MPAA, I still love the remake of Night of the Living Dead a little bit more than Snyder's Dawn, but I love Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. I really love his Dawn of the Dead.
I think Dawn of the Dead, the remake of Dawn of the Dead, just has a very special place for me because my buddy had that on DVD, and I watched that all throughout my childhood years when we go to his house. So I just feel like I like that better than the Night of the Living Dead remake, but I enjoy both. But yeah, the originals, it's Night of the Living Dead.
Certainly, there's a massive fan base for Dawn. Nico says Dawn was a life-changing movie that surprised, shocked, delighted, and seeped into his DNA. I can totally get that. Let's see. Dawn of the Dead is in my top 3 horror films, period. So there's my answer. Hey, that's awesome. And I would never, I would never say that's a bad answer for your top 3 ever.
Absolutely.
Let's see. What else do we have? I think Dave brought this up. Today is the 30th. Hold on.
I already know what you're going to say.
I'm looking for you, Dave. 33rd anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 today. Happy anniversary, Nightmare 4. That's awesome. Elm Street, this is Cat Drums. Elm Street 4 is the best. Only New Nightmare is better. I love all of them, baby. Love all of them. Cherry Falls is a great little movie. I love Cherry Falls. Brittany Murphy's great in that. Let's see.
Billy, absolutely. Tony Todd is a horror icon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jamie says, has there ever been anything you saw in a horror film that bothered you so much that you either had, hold on, I lost your comment, nightmares or couldn't watch it again? Has there ever been anything in a movie you saw that bothered you so much that you either had nightmares or couldn't watch it again?
Yeah. Not nightmares. Well, nightmares when I was younger with Samara's face in the ring. When you finally saw her face at the end, that gave me nightmares. But something that was so hard to watch that I just couldn't bring myself to watch again is probably, I mean, maybe not the movie, but the scene in I Spit on Your Grave. Yeah, that got under my skin. I don't know. That was pretty difficult to watch. So that's definitely something that I don't find myself. I'll revisit the movie, but I skip certain parts because I don't know.
I'm the opposite of what Jamie was asking. Like when I find something that really bothers me or really scares me, I have to constantly watch it. It's my way of coping with it. I know that sounds weird. Maybe some people are the same way. But Blair Witch, when I first saw that, it ruined my life. And I had to keep watching Blair Witch. I mean, it really did, man.
No,
I think I think it's still really effective. Also, I'm going to talk about this on my channel soon, but since we're here, the scene in Hellraiser 2 where the doctor brings in the schizophrenic patient who's got bumps and whelps all over his chest and body because he thinks he has maggots and worms all on him, and he's like, "Get him off me." When you look at when the camera shows what's supposed to be his point of view, and you see all the maggots and stuff on his body, that grossed me out so bad. I had to. Oh, it's disgusting. It's one of the most disgusting scenes in a movie I've ever seen, but I'll talk more about that soon.
Yeah. I don't know. Something that when you're talking about something like that affected you so badly that you feel like you have to keep revisiting it. There's one movie that has always been that way for me, and that's Arachnophobia. Because I'm arachnophobic, and the way that those spiders just look so real. They're not oversized, and it just looks so real. And the scene in the wine cellar with the queen slowly crawling up Jeff Daniels, and you're just like, I mean, he's in shock, and I have goosebumps right now, like talking about it, because like I think of myself in that position. I think I would like be in shock too. Like I don't even think I'd be able to move. And I always tell her when we watch that movie, she's like, why do you put yourself through this? Like, you're going to be squeamish this entire movie. And I'm like, it's just so effective. I don't know if it's like my brain is like, I want that fear feeling. So I just keep going back to that movie. It's a great movie, but yeah. that's one of those movies for me.
Shout out to Lopke Vision Films because he just sent me the
Yes,
Blu-ray of that. I appreciate that,
all that.
man. What's up, Jess Graham? I see you, buddy. Let's see. Um, Stone says I was living in the UK when the Dawn remake came out, and I loved it. Though Shaun came out literally weeks later, and I actually prefer it despite the comedy. I love Shaun of the Dead, man. I
Same.
avoided that movie for a long time because I thought I wouldn't like it. That actually reminds me to bring up another movie that I would love to talk to the chat about. But I had this. I was always just. I'm a punk rocker. You know, I've always been. That's my personality. So don't tell me to watch a movie because if you tell me to watch a movie, I'm not gonna watch it because I'm a punk. I'm a punk. You know, so like I don't like being told what to do. But if I get in my head, I'm not going to watch something because everybody's talking about it, or if everybody's talking about it, it makes me not want to watch it. Which I've learned to stop being that way for my own sake, not because I thought people are wrong for having differing thoughts or anything. But when I finally did watch Shaun of the Dead, I was like, man, this is hilarious. When they're trying to figure out which vinyls to throw at the zombie because like, oh, this one's worth too much money. I was like, man, that's the most relatable thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Shaun of the Dead.
I wish you could teach me how to reverse that because I can't reverse that. I still, when people are like, you got to watch this movie, you got to watch this movie, I avoid it. I did it with Hereditary for like 2 years before I saw Hereditary. I did it with Midsummer. I did it with It Follows. I do it with a bunch of movies that are like widely like revered, like, oh my God, it's so good. And I'm like, there's no way it's that good.
You know how you get out of that?
How?
Watch those movies before there's hype. That's what I started doing.
Yeah,
I try to
yeah.
watch stuff as soon as I can. I was on the It Follows train right when that movie came out. I loved It Follows. I remember before there was a movie called that I wasn't a big fan of, the Babadook, and that movie
Yes, no.
was helmed as like the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I think that the fans of it, they're right in their thoughts. They think it's a really good film, but I just was like really underwhelmed by it. And so I told myself I'm gonna try to watch all these whenever the second I even hear an inkling of something, I want to hurry up and watch it. That way I can that kind of thing. But yeah, every now and again, man, people just the general public, they're not full of bull. When people said Hereditary is one of the greatest movies of the 21st century, they meant it's one of the greatest horror movies of the 21st century.
Yes.
Yeah,
but I agree with you. I was going to mention that one too, the Babadook. That was one that got a lot of hype that I waited 2-3 years after its release to watch. And then I was like, and I think that's one of the movies that kind of solidified it for me. I was like, see, I didn't like it. I knew it. And, but again, yeah, it has its fans and more power to you. Cause I do think that it is a very smart story. I think, the metaphors and the symbolism that play throughout that movie are multi-layered. And I think that it, if you're a fan of it, that's awesome. I just couldn't really get into it. Wasn't my thing. Stone tells me I need to watch a movie called Kingdom of the Spiders with William Shatner and says half of the budget was used just for the tarantulas. I'll get around to it, Stone, but I feel like I'm going to not like it, but it'll be I don't know what it is about spiders, man.
You should watch anything that has William Shatner in it.
Yeah. And it's like I do love that feeling of being afraid. Like, so, but I watch that stuff and I'm just like, because that stuff's real. Like 8-legged freaks doesn't freak me out. I can tell those are fake spiders. That's never going to happen. Arachnophobia. No.
You should watch The Beyond by Lucio Fulci because those are real freaking those are real in that movie.
There's only one like fake spider in my life in a movie, like intentionally fake spider that freaked me out. Actually, there's two. There's the spider in Harry Potter out in the woods when they're out in the woods with all those damn spiders. No. And then
the one that's talking.
Yes.
Talk to him.
Yeah, nah, dude. And then the spider in Lord of the Rings. Those two overly sized, totally fake spiders, but they got under my skin. But most of the time, like big ones like that, I'm like, it's not even scary because I know that's not real. But I don't know.
Really quick, I wanted to bring this up for the chat if they want to comment on it. Going back to what I said, to where I belligerently avoid watching movies for one reason or the other. One of the movies I avoided watching for literally years and years and years. I refused. I gutturally really just refused to watch it. I was like, I'm not watching a Tom Cruise movie. I don't feel like watching a Tom Cruise movie.
Oh
I
yeah.
finally watched Interview with the Vampire, and I literally I wanted to slap myself. I fell in love with Interview with the Vampire. And I went into it saying, okay, Brad Pitt's going to be the star of this because Tom Cruise, blah, blah, blah. No, Tom Cruise was amazing. And then I did some research, and then I found out about the writer of the movie, and she did not want Tom to do the movie, but then she met Tom on set, and Tom was in character, and she said, "You're doing this movie. You got it. You got it." And then she fell in love with him in the movie, and I think America did. I don't know how well the movie did back then, but I fell in love with Interview. I gave it 5 stars on my Letterboxd review, and
Oh,
I
that's great.
meant it. It's one of the only few 5 stars I've given, but holy shit, I loved Interview with the Vampire. Jesus, man, it's so good.
Yeah, my mom showed me that movie when I was a kid, and yeah, it's a really, really good movie. I have not seen that movie in a long time. I saw your tweet the other day, and I was like, I need to go rewatch that. I want to ask you, is it a Tom Cruise thing? You're just not a Tom Cruise fan?
I am a Tom Cruise fan. I'm very selective though. What the problem is, not to get too off, but like the whole Scientology thing, it's not that it doesn't. I don't want to really get into religion on this show, but like him being this like poster boy for Scientology and all the crazy stuff that we've now seen go down with the Leah Remini documentaries and stuff, with what they've done to some of these families and the Miscavige, all this crazy stuff. It's like that's initially just what comes to my mind when I hear Tom Cruise. So it's just like, oh, I don't feel like watching a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
Not it's nothing really personally that he did. Like I love Top Gun, even though that's Top Gun. I don't know if some people like Top Gun. I love Top Gun. I love Risky Business. I love Mission Impossible. I love a lot of stuff he's done, but like I just stopped watching Tom Cruise movies. I think I watched a movie called Jack Reacher a few years ago when that came out, and I was like, you know what? I'm kind of done with Tom Cruise. I really didn't like that movie at all, and I just haven't watched him, but much anything else from him. But I finally was just like, let me go back and watch this movie. My wife was like, Christian, you fell in love with Dracula '92. You never thought you would have loved that movie. You're maturing, you're getting older, your tastes in movies are changing. You don't need blood and guts on the screen every 2 seconds anymore. You're starting to really appreciate story and mood and atmosphere. Interview with the Vampire is your movie. And I was like, okay, let me take your word for it. And there's only one thing I would have changed about Interview with the Vampire. Only one thing. I would have swapped out the Guns N' Roses cover of Sympathy for the Devil with the Motorhead version at the end. But other than that, I thought that movie was, holy crap, it was amazing.
Are you
So
gonna track
good.
it down and get a physical copy of it now, or do you already own it?
I've got a Snap-a-Case DVD of it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, but I would love to upgrade it. I want a 4K of that. Are you kidding me? I would
Yeah.
love a 4K of Interview with the Vampire. So good. My favorite scene was like I really loved the scene where you've got Tom and Pitt. They kind of like go into like this house with these two girls, and he bites the girl on the nipple, but she really likes it. But then she looks down and she's covered in blood.
Yeah.
Oh man, that scene got me. I was like, holy crap! But dude, like I'll stop because I'm going too off. But I just couldn't believe how I like that's what I'm getting at. I was such an idiot. Excuse me. The Mummy that Tom Cruise did was what really sealed it for
Oh
me. I
yeah,
was like,
that movie
I'm
sucked.
done with Tom Cruise. Brendan Fraser for life, baby. I mean, Boris Karloff is the greatest Mummy movie, but I freaking love to death the '99 Brendan Fraser Mummy movie. That movie's amazing. But I would have put the Motorhead Sympathy with the Devil in the movie because I'm not a massive Guns N' Roses fan. But if the Motorhead version would have been in there, I'd have been like, I'd have got off my seat and started clapping at the end of the movie. But so good, the cast. I'm sorry, just dude, Christian Slater too. I mean, Christian Slater's awesome. I watched for the first time True Romance and fell in love with that. I was like, dude, Christian Slater's freaking awesome. I loved
Yeah.
him in Heathers too, but yeah. So sorry, I'll get off my Tom Cruise thing. It's really not the Scientology
No,
thing
you're
because
good.
he's not even the one that was affected by all that. He's like he gets treated like royalty anywhere he goes anyway. But like the Mummy is what really was just like really bummed me out. I was like, I'm done with Cruise, man. Like,
I'm
what the
really
hell?
glad that that didn't do well because Universal was about to relaunch their classic monsters remakes and all this stuff, and that movie tanked, and they were like, "Okay, maybe we shouldn't do that."
I mean, they did Invisible Man though, and that was
And that was
successful
awesome.
relatively. I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was. It was. Yeah. It was. I think it made over $100 million before the shutdowns, and then it went to streaming. And I rented it the night it came out for $20 because I'd heard a lot of good things about it, but everything was just starting, and I was like, "We're not going to the movies right now." No, like neither one of us felt comfortable going to the movies. So, but it made good money for the first 2 weeks it was out. Yeah, it was successful, and they're
Love that
making
movie.
they're making a sequel, and they're making an Invisible Woman movie. So they're making like it, which is going to be like a spin-off of that one, and there's also going to be a sequel to it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I need a sequel, but I thought that was a super effective thriller. That movie is really good.
All right, let's see what we got. Looks like people are agreeing. Some love for Interview with the Vampire. The Interview with the Vampire is great because Tom is an actual vampire. I wouldn't dismiss that either.
Yeah, he's just like Paul Rudd. He's one of those actors that people say they don't age. Like they just don't.
Yeah. Nico says he's been resisting Queen of the Damned, but I keep hearing it's actually pretty good. Maybe someday. I like Queen of the Damned. I've got that on VHS. Joe Cool mentions, hey Nick, what about the spider scene in The Mist? The scene with the one guy exploding with all the baby spiders running out of him.
Disgusting. That's another one. Thank you for doing that. Making me think about that. Yeah, that's a movie that I feel like flies under a lot of people's radar. Because I don't think it was very well received. I enjoy that movie, but yeah, that scene's disgusting. Also, the things at the end, that are like walking, that are like 1,000 feet tall, they like remind me of just like giant spiders. I don't know. I just think it's gross. I don't know. Guys, a lot of people have very irrational fears, and spiders are mine. And being buried alive. Yeah, I think those are my two.
Vanilla Sky. People are like talking about Vanilla Sky. Stone. I don't know what kind of music any of you guys, quite frankly, listen to. But Stone, since you're talking, I see you talking about Tom Cruise real quick. There's a hardcore band I used to listen to a lot called Bury Your Dead. And they have an album. I think the album's actually called Magnolia, but they're all Tom Cruise fans. So all the songs are named after Tom Cruise movies. There is The Color of Money, Magnolia, like all that. All the songs are titled after Tom Cruise movies. Mission Impossible. You should anybody should go up and look that up. Look up that album. The album's from like 2005 or something, but the whole album, I think the album's called The Color of Money, as a matter of fact, but it's called, just look up the band Bury Your Dead, and they have an album where all the songs are titled after Tom Cruise movies. Great album. I love it.
Yes, Wes, I was a fan of Tom Cruise's War of the Worlds. I really
Oh,
like
that I like that one too. I saw that in the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
all
just
right,
don't like
guys.
Dakota Fanning in the movie, but that's it.
Yeah. You can keep the questions coming, guys. We'll go for a little bit longer. Mid-level Media says, "What's up, guys? Thoughts on Single White Female? Watched that for the first time this week and really enjoyed it. Have you seen Single White?"
I have not. Have you?
I did. I watched that. I got that on Scream Factory maybe a month and a half ago. I thought it was pretty good. The predictability was pretty much there for it, but the performances were great. The drama was good. I saw some of the twists coming with the new roommate and then the cheating boyfriend and what was going to happen. But I appreciated it. I thought it was well executed. So it's certainly worth a watch. I think Single White Female. I love those kinds of early 2000s thriller relationship movies. There was an abundance of them around that time. One of my favorites is Sleeping with the Enemy, for God's sakes, with Julia
awesome.
Roberts. Holy crap! Sleeping with the Enemy that's an underrated movie because that one doesn't really get, especially in the horror world, like those movies that kind of tinkle around quote unquote horror because they're so set in reality with their premise. Yeah. But I think Sleeping with the Enemy is amazing. I love that movie so much.
Another movie from that era, late 90s, early 2000s, and then that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough, at least anymore, is What Lies Beneath. I watched that again recently. That is a really good thriller. I mean, that threw me for a loop the first time I saw it. I did not see that reveal coming. And now I watch it, I'm like, how the hell did I not see that? But you got Michelle Pfeiffer, Harrison Ford. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Ben Grimm actually says the Eternals director is making the new Dracula for Universal. She said a spaced Western Dracula. I know that this is a problem with some people. For me, I have watched so many Dracula movies up to this point. Horror of Dracula, Dracula 80, 1972, Dracula must, many of them. Prince of Darkness. I've watched the original Dracula. I've watched Dracula versus Frankenstein. I've watched so many Dracula movies. The 2020 Netflix series, which is insanely good. I was shocked at how good it was. The 79 Dracula. I have no problem seeing a spaced Western Dracula. I figure, what the hell? I mean, I want to see this. Like, I'm more excited for this than anything else that I've heard about. I can't wait to see a space Western Dracula. If it's not good, oh well. But if it's cool, if it's good, hell yeah. A space freaking Western Dracula. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. You know?
That's
just
an
me.
interesting premise.
Excuse me. I saw that the lady that directed the new Candyman movie is working on a remake to Sleeping with the Enemy. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's
It never ends, Christian. It never
I got
ends.
I was talking to a friend about this last night. I go back to a movie like Wrong Turn.
Oh yeah.
Whether you like the movie or not, I don't think you can argue that the title was simply used because of a fan base and a knowledge of the title. Because that movie was not Wrong Turn. Obviously, if you've seen Wrong Turn, you know what that movie's about. Whether you like the movie or not it's in my opinion is irregardless to what my argument is. Not only is horror become expendable, even thrillers up to this point, thriller horror, whatever you want to call it, but the fans of them are expendable now. What the movies were about means nothing anymore. And I'm not saying that's Candyman or anything, because obviously Candyman, you really can't get around. There's gonna be a scary African American with a hook for a hand in Candyman. Like, you really can't get around that. So I'm not talking about necessarily Candyman or something, but I'm sick of this stuff happening and taking these titles and not even using the work that was done before in any capacity. And I just feel this is going to start happening much more frequently, and it really upsets me because the fans have become expendable.
Yeah.
Screw the look at I'll get off my horse
No,
about it. But
I know what you're gonna say. I mean, you've said it before, and you're absolutely right. And I know you don't want to like get into it too deep because we both know we'll turn this into a full on discussion. But I mean, you've said it many times. Where's the remake of Billy Madison? Where's the remake of Barbershop?
Caddyshack, yeah,
Caddyshack. Yeah, it's like
only horror is expendable.
Yeah.
This it's just really sad. Really,
Yeah.
it really bothers me.
And you mentioned Candyman, and I wanted to say I watched a clip of Jordan Peele talking about. By the way, Nia DaCosta needs to get her freaking credit from some of the media. Everyone just marketing it as Jordan Peele's Candyman is really, really annoying. He was a producer. Yes, he was on set a lot because he felt very connected to this movie, but it was Nia DaCosta's movie. So just want to shout her out really quick because I'm very excited for the movie. But
Hold on, you want to know why though? In my opinion, what sounds more exciting, Nia DaCosta's Candyman or Jordan Peele's Candyman?
I totally
To the
get
average, that's just the way
It's all
marketing works,
marketability.
man.
Yeah. Well, hey, Get Out and Us were both super successful and well received. So let's say Jordan Peele's Candyman. Yeah, I get it. It's just it's frustrating. But I watched an interview with him the other day that was really cool, and I never thought about it from this perspective. He was like, they asked him why he felt, so connected to this story and why he wanted to make, a sequel to that movie. And he was like, growing up, I loved horror movies. But every time I saw a horror movie, I realized I didn't have a black Freddy Krueger or a black Jason or a black Michael Myers. He was like, Candyman was like the first African-American, I guess you could say, like, villain in a horror film that you could build a franchise around, that they really like did that with, like a slasher franchise. Now I know there are one-offs and there's underrated movies, I'm sure, but I never thought about that. And I thought that was really cool because I'm like, damn, like maybe that's another reason why Tony Todd, not just because of his performance, is so iconic, is that, he was almost the first of his kind in a way. We I just thought that was really cool because I never thought about that. I kind of opened my eyes to that. I was like, damn, like that he really is like the African American equivalent of like a Michael or a Freddie or a Jason. Like that's pretty cool. So, and hearing that too, then also made me feel more, just a little bit more. I'm already excited for it, but just a little bit more like this movie's going to be good because like the people that made this movie love this source material. And like they really want to give you something that's like going to be on par with the original. Nothing's ever going to beat the original. But the only worry I have about this movie is the usage of Tony Todd. I don't want it to be just a, like you said, blink and you'll miss it appearance. I really don't want that because I get if you want to pass the torch, and I totally understand that and respect that. But I think you have to do it in a dignified way to where Tony Todd's going to get some screen time as Candyman. I don't know. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
I'm gonna comment on the film when I see it. I really don't want to.
Are you going to see it next week, or are you going to wait a little bit?
Yes, I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it. Shout out to Blackula #1. Those films are different tiers, but I'm a huge Blackula fan. Shout out to movies like Black Caesar, directed by Larry Cohen from the 70s. That movie is amazing. If you haven't seen Black Caesar, it's one of the greatest movies, period. But I do agree. I mean, on the level of what Candyman is, yeah, an icon. He was the instant icon, in a sense, Candyman. But yeah, I'm gonna comment on Candyman when I see it. That's just where I'm at.
But keep it spoiler free when you do your review because.
Well, figure we could do it since you're going to see it too. I mean, I'd rather for my channel, I'd like to do the review, whatever we do for the podcast, as opposed to just me doing a review. I'd rather I'm saying you could still do your thing for your channel, but
I'm doing it. I'm going to see it. I'm going out of town next weekend, but I'm catching it either Thursday, the night it comes out, or Sunday, the night I get back. So I will see it opening weekend. So if you wanted to do it the following week as the episode, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Joe Cool says, question, what horror movie do you wish would have a roundtable commentary with multiple horror directors? What actors do you wish would do a commentary on their own horror movies? So what he's asking is, which horror movie do you wish would have a roundtable? Oh, so basically, which horror movie would you like to see directors sitting, watching, and talking about?
Oh, House of a Thousand Corpses, man. I think people would just tear it apart, and it would be so funny because I love that movie, but I would love to get a bunch of pretentious directors together to watch House of a Thousand Corpses.
I would I'll kind of cheat. Living or Dead. I would have Toby Hooper, John Carpenter, Wes Craven, David Cronenberg. I'd even get Lucio Fulci in there, and even Argento and some other ones. All sit down and watch Night of the Living Dead together, because all those and Sam Raimi too, because a lot of those guys say that the reason they became they wrote horror movies. A lot of them was because of Night of the Living Dead. So I think it would be so cool to all see them nerd out over that movie and talk about basically what it did for them and how it inspired them. That would be really cool. I would love to see Pamela Springsteen finally talk about Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, but she's not going to do it. But I would love to see what she says about it. And I want her to be honest, what she really thinks, because obviously it's not good if she won't talk about it.
If we're gonna mention like specific people, I would love to see, a round table of people like Carpenter, Hooper, obviously maybe Craven, even though it is his movie, get together and watch Scream. And the reason it'd be Scream is because I'd love to know how some of these older filmmakers that made similar films 2 decades, 15, 20 years prior, how they feel about kind of the reinvention of that genre again and reintroducing it. Like, Are they a fan of that movie? Do they feel, I think that'd be cool because I think it gives you, it's multi-layered. It's like the OGs watching a movie inspired by their movies in an effort to reignite interest in their kind of movies. I think that would be cool to see what they thought of it.
I would also like to have Orson Welles, uh, Alfred Hitchcock watch Hobgoblins.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah,
Oh,
Christian. I tagged Christian in a Hobgoblins thing last night
I
on Instagram.
I can't believe they made a second one. Oh man. Maybe I'll do a patron tier that if I reach it, I'll do a live Hobgoblins commentary, and I have to watch the movie. I can't just talk to the chat. Like I have to really watch it and commentate on the movie.
Yeah, you're gonna have to because people have really been blowing you up about Hobgoblins recently. So
Yeah, the last stream I did at the end, everybody was just trolling me.
I know you were like, I'm done. Like all you guys are doing is talking about Hobgoblins.
Yep. All right, guys, let's get a few more questions in, and it's been really fun. Let's see. Ice Ice Cody says, "Why do horror fans love Sleepaway Camp so much? I think the movie is lame. You don't see any kills. There's no suspense. I tried to watch it a couple times, and I just don't get the fandom." Um, I don't know. I think it's entertaining, and it's funny. I think Sleepaway Camp is really funny. That's why I'm a big fan of it. The ending is the ending, and yeah, but that's a few seconds of the movie. That's not really my. I've never had a strong stance on the ending of the film in terms of why I think it's good. I think it's a cool ending, but no, I think that the movie is actually just really funny. I love the fact that it's turned on its head. All the guys are basically half naked the entire movie, and the girls aren't, and they're wearing booty shorts and cut off tees with their stomachs hanging out. I think Sleepaway Camp is really funny, and it's a fun, entertaining slasher. That's why I like it. But that's something that I take away from the film, and it just may not be something that you will. So it just may not be one of, like I said earlier, session 9. I want to like that film, but I cannot connect with it. Maybe this is just one for you with Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, for me, I think that it's obviously like you said, turning the tropes on their head, but it's a bunch of kids. Like it's just different. You don't get that a lot. You get a camp slasher, it's a bunch of, butt naked young adults getting drunk and getting cut up. Like, this is, oh dear God.
I guess what I'm not watching on Tubi tonight.
It's just a bunch of kids, man. Like it's totally, you wouldn't think that. And not only is it a bunch of kids that are dying, it's a kid killing the kids. Like I just thought that was a really interesting concept. Like that, you probably won't see that. You don't see that a lot, and you probably still won't see that for years to come, where people really delve into that, realm of like, let's have a movie centered around kids where a kid is killing other kids. Oh, and that kid happens to be, I don't want to spoil the ending if anyone hasn't seen it, but it's just, yeah, it's out there, man. I don't know. It just stands out. I think that's a good way to put it. It stands out. It's not your prototypical teenage camp slasher movie.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Kay says, well, I think Kay asked a question earlier that I saw. What are your most, got to get a little physical media talking here. What are your most anticipated 4K horror releases? I've certainly got mine for the year. The Thing, I cannot wait to watch that on 4K. I'm probably going to pick up Scream. I wish it was uncut. I thought it was going to be. I saw some posts about it, but it turns out it's not. But I've got my laser disc, so if I want to see the boyfriend's gut spill out on the deck a little bit longer, I can. That's not really my most anticipated though. Near Dark is certainly one I want to have. The Howling is certainly one I can't wait to get on 4K. And quite frankly, American Psycho, man, I haven't watched that movie in years. I loved that movie, so that's one. But probably, Demons 1 and 2, I've got that on pre-order. And hey, Halloween 3, man, like I'm really excited to see Halloween 3 on 4K because they shot the Universal Halloweens, specifically Halloween 3 was shot extremely well. Uh, uh, whether it be Dean Cundy or just the equipment in general, or just the whole production of the film, Halloween 3 was shot really well. So I think Halloween 3 is going to be the best rated one in terms of its physical look of the film overall. I don't think 4 and 5 are going to look really good. I think they're going to have a lot more grain as opposed to some of the other ones, which some people love the grain. I do too, but I think Halloween 3 is going to be the best looking of the bunch when people finally start getting their hands on those. I think Halloween 3 is going to be the best looking one, and that's a plus for me because it's my favorite one. So Halloween 3 is probably my most anticipated.
Yeah, my most anticipated, believe it or not, is Halloween 5. And it's because of the things you said of why they are a little bit grainier. 5 almost at sometimes looks like it was almost made for TV. So I'm cautiously optimistic about what a 4K transfer can really bring out of that film. So I'm optimistic about that, cautiously optimistic. The Thing, Scream, and The Howling. And those The Howling, I mean, that's just perfect. 40th anniversary, like you got to do it. The Thing, because come on, like
It's the goat.
I want to see a 4K transfer of that. And Scream, just because I feel like that's another series that you haven't really got a ton of like special edition, limited edition releases of. Like you really haven't. I think it's nice to see that get a 4K. I mean, obviously they're doing it, as part of I'm sure part of its marketing for the new movie. But hey, I'm all about it. But yeah, Halloween 5 is probably my most anticipated, which is funny because the Anchor Bay Blu-rays, if you remember when they released those Blu-rays that had like the fiery tint on them, everyone was like, well, 4 is going to, be the better Blu-ray because it's the better shot movie and blah, blah, blah. And 4's transfer paled in comparison to 5's. And I know a lot of people were surprised that they're like, Halloween 5's transfer looks better. So I'm excited to see if the 4K can even bring a little bit more out of it. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm excited for Nothing But Trouble. I think I've talked about this on my channel before. I'm a massive Nothing But Trouble fan. I don't care if it's not a quote unquote horror film.
Be back
You
in
will.
like 5 seconds. 5
You're cool.
seconds.
You guys will be getting a very in-depth review, basically shot by shot of that movie from me, because Nothing But Trouble is one of my favorite Bizarro films ever. Dan Aykroyd is the judge, is one of the most shocking performances I've ever seen on screen. If you haven't seen that movie, you need to see it. It's shocking. If you haven't ever seen Nothing But Trouble, it's a must own. So, also they're doing a Children of the Corn set, I think, that are 4Ks of
Yes,
1, 2,
they
and 3
are.
from Arrow, and I'm a massive fan of the Children of the Corn 1 and 2. I haven't seen 3 in years.
Have you seen
I have
all of
seen it.
those movies, by the way?
Yeah, some of them are really bad.
That's what I've heard.
I like the first 3.
Yeah, those are the only ones I've seen. 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I've seen them all at one time, but I like the first 3. So I'm excited about that. Evan, the movie guy, says the current Blu-ray of Scream is a disaster. It's needed a 4K scan for a long time.
I would agree, Evan.
Yeah. Oh, Stone, we'll definitely do that. I'll bring you on my channel to review it, so make sure you get in the Blu-ray, buddy. We did what was last? We did Massacre at Central High. I'll get you on my channel for the review of Nothing But Trouble. So let's see. We'll take a few more questions. Let's see. Let's see. Scrolling through.
Speaking of which, Stone, reach out to me when you can, man. I would love to follow up with you about getting you on at some point. But I want to make sure it's a topic that you're passionate about talking about. So reach out to me.
Just don't make it about The Shining.
Oh, why's that?
You don't like it.
He doesn't.
You don't like The Shining.
Well, I get a lot of hate because I like Dr. Sleep better than The Shining. So,
well, you might have something in common with him then.
yeah, I love The Shining though, so maybe not.
Would you ever create a horror themed aquarium? Maybe with Bruce munching on a cage. Hooper, a chained Jason, the creature from the Black Lagoon, and glowing striped gremlins in the midst of multiplying. Sure, I mean that sounds cool. Exactly what you're mentioning, I guess.
Yeah, it'd be aesthetically. Yeah, I think that'd be cool to look at. I need to get an aquarium. I want to get an aquarium like so bad. I have two cats though, so I don't know.
Man, they're a pain in the butt having to upkeep them, taking the water out, cleaning it out, putting more water in, fixing the filters, all this stuff. Oh, I've had them before, and they were always a pain in my ass.
Yeah, we had one when I was growing up. So I mean, I love, but when I was growing up, I didn't have to upkeep it. So
Yeah. Krampus just got announced for a 4K. I'm a big Krampus
yes,
fan.
I saw that too. That looks awesome.
Scatterbrain says a boutique label approaches you guys to collab. What label? What movie? Movies? What kind of design?
Oh, well, my go to is just the one that I keep Nightmare. We're doing a Nightmare. We're either doing a box set, we're doing individual 4K releases, we're doing Nightmare. I'm probably going with Scream Factory, honestly. And design, I don't know, except that I want the box to be red. Whatever is on the box is on the box, but I want it to be red.
I don't care who puts out the label, but they have to meet my demands. 1 through 3, and I'm not trying to be. I don't think I'm too over the top. I've said this before too. 1 through 3 have to be brand new 4K scan releases. You can do 1080p for 4 and 5, but 5 has to be uncut. Even if you can't completely get, I don't think the original film elements for the uncut stuff may exist. They could possibly exist, but you can certainly take prints from the Laserdisc or VHS and try to upscale as much as you can. But you have to have a part 5 uncut. It needs to be uncut.
And
Make
you
part
want Freddy's Dead 3D, right?
Well, sure. I don't really care because it's only one scene, but yeah, make it legitimate 3D for the people that have 3D TV still and all that kind of stuff. I would 4K scan New Nightmare because they 4K scan Jason Goes to Hell, so I'm trying to equate getting that ladder entry 4K scan. I would 4K scan that. You could put Freddy versus Jason in there and if you want to, I don't care, and the remake in there as well. I'd want a new interview with Jackie Earl for that. If they didn't do a box that is basically the equivalent of the Nightmare box, which the Friday box, which is what I've said, is I think they should get the same exact artist to do for at Elm Street what he did for the Friday box. The collage of Freddy's, have a Butcher Freddy, have a Bourbon Freddy, have a Butcher Freddy, have a Chef Freddy, Bon Appetit bitch, have a Marionette Freddy, have so many great visuals you could do. Have the mirrors on the wall from part 3 where you see Freddy in the mirror. So many great stuff, but make it thematically the same looking as the Friday box set. That way when you put them side by side, they just very perfectly go together. If they didn't do that, what I would want to do is make an Elm Street. I would want the house where you can lift the lid off the roof.
Oh my God.
And when you pull the roof off, they're digibooks with I would want them to be digibooks. In my mind, they're digibooks if you pull the roof off of the Elm Street house.
Can you imagine if someone did that? If one of these labels made the box set the house?
It'd have to be extremely limited.
Yeah. And also, that'd be so weird to put on a shelf. You would have to like display that facing frontward and have like enough space to do that. But now I'm thinking about that and I'm like, dude, that would be so cool.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, but Anyway.
Yeah. Thank you, Joey. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I'm trying to get Christian on one of them.
Let's see. What's a horror film that you wish you saw in theaters? Texas Chainsaw for me. Nightmare on Elm Street, man. I would have died to have seen the original 1, 2. I would love to have seen 1 through 5 in the theaters. I would probably have wanted to seen the first one in the theaters, but part 2 or 3 would have been really cool too to see in theaters.
I would have loved to have seen Jaws. And I'm talking original run because I know a lot of these movies get like re-releases, but original run, Halloween, Jaws, Child's Play, Blair Witch Project. Oh yeah, Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. Let's see. What other alternative art posters would you want on that Nightmare box? Oh yeah, because when you flip the art, they usually have alternates. Um, for part 2, obviously it's the media home video release with the Freddy kind of peering through the flames for the media part 2. Part 3, I would want the I think it's Korean. I can't remember the nationality, but it's basically a poster of the worm Freddy eating Patricia Arquette, where it's a side shot of that. There's some really cool art there. I think there's a part 4. There is um part 4. There was a cool foreign poster where it's just like the junkyard, but it's a picture of like a cartoon Freddy on the front. Part 5 is obvious. I would want which I have as my part 5 poster in my horror room, the VHS cover. Obviously, I would want that for part 5. Part
Not the cradle.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You're
saying.
not,
The
oh,
VHS
that one.
cover.
Okay, okay,
The
yeah,
the blue with Freddy sitting
yeah.
over it, giving the. I would love that for the part 5. New Nightmare obviously would be the teaser poster where it's just the silhouette of Freddy's the evil Freddy's eyes. The original, I would go Japanese, that really bright, colorful collage kind of stuff. Or you could do many of the other artworks that they've done. I don't know, but part 2, obviously, I would want the VHS style releases. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think that I don't really like the new Nightmare poster. I like the teaser. I don't really care much for the poster.
You mean like the where you see
Just
Freddy in the
just
top and then
Freddy,
the.
yeah, with his like this
That's
and
why I pulled it down, man. I
yeah,
liked it at first, but I got burnt out on it pretty quick.
yeah.
All right, I gotta stop talking about Freddy, or people are gonna get pissed off at me. Um, I saw a good question. God, I gotta start trying to. Do you ever think they'll do a full Chucky box set? Didn't they kind of
Y-
do one?
Yeah, they have the set. I mean, I guess if you're including the remake, no, they'll never do one with the remake because the rights are different there. Well, I guess maybe they would. Honestly, it's not really up to Mancini. So, yeah, I think you'll eventually get one, but they'll probably wait a little bit
Well,
because they're
interestingly, and yeah, interestingly enough, the yellow the doll box set that I have, and I know you have it too.
yep,
That has part 1 in it, and that's owned by MGM, and the
yep.
rest are Universal.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I
So,
stopped myself and I was like, yeah, they probably actually would be able to include the remake in it. But I think the reason I don't think they're in a rush to do it because they just put out the 7 movie one not long ago. It's only the remake that is now by itself. And you've got the TV series. And I think that Mancini is still, he said a couple weeks ago in an interview, he's hoping to continue Chucky on the big screen and the small screen. So,
oh boy, he's doing a
yeah,
lot.
yo, I know. I think you and I both have the same feelings about the TV series and the future of Chucky with Don Mancini. So fingers crossed, hope for the best, but I am preparing for the worst.
Trevor Smith says, "Do you guys prefer Halloween 2018 mask or the Rob Zombie mask?"
Oh, man.
I can tell you my favorite, but it's very specific. The Rob Zombie mask before it gets put under the floorboard and discovered years later, like when the boyfriend puts the mask on and
Yep.
it's clean. That one I like it a lot because it's mean looking, like part 5.
Yeah, you got that hokey ass scene of young Michael walking down the hallway with it, killing Judith. Does not look good. I mean, the mask looks great, but it's way too big for his head. Yeah, that sculpt is awesome. Wayne Toth, he did awesome with that mask. He really did. It has expression to it. I like that. But I just did a ranking on the masks like 2 weeks ago. I did a video on that, and I put 2018 above it. And I think it was because for me, I think the weathered look on 2018 looks more realistic. That's not to say I don't think that Rob Zombies is badass, because I do. I've always loved that mask. But I don't know what it is. I think that the 2018 mask is a little tighter, looks like it really fits his face a little bit better. The Rob Zombie one was a little bit bigger. And the wear and tear on that mask was definitely more for effect than historical accuracy. But I do love the mask. That's a good question.
Mhm.
That's hard.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna start wrapping it up. I'll do 2 more questions. Joe Cool says, "Question: If you could have a life-size Universal monster replica, which would it be, and how would you display it? Mine would either be the creature in a tank or the wolf man with fog.
Oh,
I want a big, awesome Bela Lugosi Dracula,
okay.
full cape, the whole thing, or Frankenstein, one of the
I was
two.
gonna
The
say
Frankenstein
Frankenstein's
monster.
monster. Yeah, that'd be mine.
Yeah,
Because we had those at Spirit, and we talked about that on our Spirit episode years and years ago. And like,
you
obviously,
get me. Yeah,
yeah, obviously you'd want something a little higher quality if you were going to get a life size like that. Like, but I just always thought that was so cool. Probably Frankenstein's monster for me.
yeah. I kind of wish I'd have got that. I could have got that Jemmy too. So
I'm telling you, man, they did not sell well because I think they were $399.99. They were one of the more expensive ones we ever sold. And people were like,
they were
I'm not.
big. They were
Yeah,
they were really big.
huge.
Yeah.
They're like 7 feet tall. And we didn't start selling them until after Halloween when it was 50% off. Then people were like, all right, I'll buy them. Speaking of which, Spirit opens tomorrow. My local Spirit does. Actually, one of them opened today that's close to me, but it's one of those mall ones where it's like all costumes. And I was like, I'm not doing a video in there. People don't want to just, I'm not looking at the costumes like that. So,
Just letting everybody know, I'm obviously going to go to Spirit and I'll do my vlogs and all that. But I want you to know the most excited I am this year for anything is the Monster Mash cereal. So
oh
like,
my God. Yeah.
I'm so over the moon. I'm getting all the monster cereals. I'm getting the Monster Mash cereal. I'm getting the Monster Mash fruit snacks. I'm going to Sam's Club and getting the big box of the mini monster cereal packs where they come in like little mini Cheez-It bags with cool art on them. I'm so excited for all that. It's not even funny.
If
So
I
I'm gonna go
recall
to Spirit and all
correctly,
that, but
you said that your top is Count Chocula, right?
without question, I'm a big Count Chocula guy.
Same here. Just wanted to be sure because that's been mine since like day one. Count Chocula.
Oh, it's
I
the
really like
greatest.
Frankenberry. Boo Berry's the weakest, I think. Boo Berry is the weakest.
Blueberry's the weakest. Blueberry's the weakest. It's an afterthought, man.
Yeah.
An afterthought. Somebody's gonna get mad at us because they love
Boo
Blueberry,
Berry's
but
my favorite.
Count Chocula's. Man, I'm always gonna be a Count Chocula guy.
Have
One
you
more
ever kept a
question.
box? Like,
No, It's funny you mention that. It's funny you mention that because our living room, and one of these days I'll show it on my YouTube channel. It's just, I guess, I I want to keep a little bit of privacy, but
yeah, for
I'll
sure.
explain it to the people here. But like, we redecorated our living room and it's completely Universal monster themed. So there's Phantom posters all over the wall. There's Dracula posters, Frankenstein pictures, and we had one more wall that we're going to decorate. And when I go to get the cereals, we're going to get a big frame and we're going to cut the front of the retro style cereal boxes, the Frankenberry and Chocula and Blueberry. We're going to cut the fronts out and laminate them, and we're going to put them in this frame and decorate it and make it look all cool and old school. And we're going to have that on the wall. So I'll have that on there. But yeah, I'm so excited about all that, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know when your local Spirit opens?
Probably sometime this weekend, but I'm not going to be able to go till because I have to work. I work every other weekend with my schedule at work.
Yeah.
So next weekend is when we're going to go get all my monster cereals and go to Spirit. And my wife actually found something she wants to get, but um, I haven't really found anything from Spirit that I'm like, oh my God, I have to have that, which probably is a good thing for my wallet, but I'm sure I'll find little trinkets
Yeah,
or
just wait
something
till you
cool.
walk in. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we're gonna do one more question. This has been really fun. Of course, Jamie loves Blueberry. I knew somebody was gonna.
Sorry,
Uh,
Jamie.
let's see. Everybody's saying thanks. Good stream tonight. I appreciate it, guys. I will do another one from Trevor. Oh, we'll do Scatterbrain's question right here because we've talked about Halloween a lot tonight. Holy Grail piece for your collection.
That we do have, or that we want, or I think he said.
Let's just do both. Do one you want and one you got. That way we're covering what he's asking, regardless.
What I have, that is my Holy Grail, is a 3-parter, but it's all the same. I have a piece of the hedge from the Hedge House. I have a rock from the front yard of the Myers house, and paint chips from the Myers house. That's my holy grail that I own, are the three of those things. Because one, they were free, and all three of them are a piece of movie history. I literally have a piece of the Myers house in my collection, which is awesome to me. I knew that was going to be the one. And then the one that I want, I would honestly, I don't know if I can say like definitively it's this specific item. I would just love to have a piece from Halloween, like something that was used on the set. So, you know, whether it's a marker board or whatever they call those scene markers, a piece of the original film, like something like that. I would love that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. This is my holy grail piece. I've always wanted this from David Miller himself, who created the look of Freddy Krueger in return for Part 5 to do the makeup. This is my David Miller Creations Baby Freddy. Here's the COA. This is one of my favorite pieces ever. I've wanted it for years, and I finally was able to get it. So I love my Baby Freddy. Another piece that I would love to have would be, I don't know,
What would you?
screen use glove, maybe.
I was gonna say, would a screen use glove be like otherworldly to you?
Sure.
Screen use glove from Freddy's Revenge.
Sure. Any of them. Anyone ever. If it was ever used, even if it was on set and it wasn't used, I would love to just have that. But screen use isn't really always my thing. I just love beautiful pieces. So, but yeah, my Baby Freddy's one thing I've wanted for a long time, and I doubt I'll ever get something that touches how amazing this is. It's my favorite piece of my collection. It was my Chucky doll for a long time, but my favorite piece of my collection is my Baby Freddy. So
it's disgusting and beautiful, and it's yes, very accurate too. Obviously, I mean, like you said, Miller did it himself, so makes sense.
So yeah, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight. This is really cool. Seems like people liked it. Nuclear he wants to see more of them. So yeah, I had a great time, guys. Tell me real quick before we go, what's a topic you would like us to discuss on future podcast episodes? I always ask people to tell us what they want to see, but they probably click off of the videos by that point. But,
Yeah.
but for real, whatever you guys would like us to discuss, please let us know.
Keep in mind, we will be discussing Candyman, probably in depth. Now, would you want to break that up as like first part spoiler free and then spoiler filled, or
I think by the time we actually premiere the episode,
a lot of people,
everybody should have. Yeah. That should.
Also, guys, I've been asking Christian. He said he was down for the idea. How would you guys feel about a look back at Jeepers Creepers? Not talk about the franchise, sure, but really just the first movie. Memories of that, what it meant to you. Because that was terrifying to me, very iconic. I thought that'd be a cool idea. Look back on that.
Mm-hmm.
I know people are probably going to say, like, you guys should do an episode talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise and Child's Play. Like, those are things we'll definitely get to down the line. But Christian has said himself, and I agree, you can get kind of burnt out when you get episodic like that of like, all right, let's cover this franchise. Next week, we're going to cover this franchise. It can kind of, I don't know, it runs its course if you do too much at one time. So,
yeah. And it'd be nice to doing one movie like that, talking about everything about it, is something we haven't really done before, and I would like to do that too.
Another one that I would like to do with that would be the It miniseries. A look back at the It miniseries would be cool.
That would be cool. Some of the ones that I know I had told Nick we were going to do, since you guys are here watching, I'll tell you real quick, is I obviously, when we get the Halloween 4Ks in, I want to do like a video on that, honest thoughts on the releases. We'll have them with us, and we can show certain things that we like about it, talk about basically our experiences with them. I'm sure we'll have tried to at least watched all of them when we get them as soon as we can, so we can really discuss that. And I want to do one on that for the people that don't buy it and kind of want to live vicariously through a video of us that have them, or just hear our thoughts about it. So that's something I want to do. told them I wanted to do a commentary, and we could do it live, I guess, if not premiere it. But I want to do a commentary on Halloween 3 on here
The
during
4K,
Halloween
right?
time. Sure, the 4K. Remakes is something that people have asked for a while.
Yes.
So that's one we'll do. So yeah, but it sounds like everybody looks like people are down with
We've
Jeepers
got
Creepers.
Yeah, we've also got Stephen King episode, comedies. Dude, I could go comedies all day. I could talk
Mhm.
comedies all day. But yeah, Stephen King would also be another really cool one.
Yeah,
Although talking Stephen King has definitely been done to death, but it's been done to death because there's a lot of really good Stephen King adaptations. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely something.
yeah. All right,
Yeah,
guys. So yeah, 2 hours. Wow, it's been a while. We've been rolling, but I had a great time. I'm sure Nick did too. So
always, man.
Um,
Always, everybody that watched, thank you so much. I know, this is y'all we're on Kristen's channel, so but I appreciate you guys watching the time throughout. Anybody that is new to me, hello. Anybody that isn't new to me, thanks for tuning back in. I had a great time. Hope to see you guys next time.
yeah. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate you watching. For all the super chats, guys, I really appreciate that. Goes right back into the channel, and we love you. And we'll see you guys very, very soon.